In this video, you're going to be learning about how you can be more courageous, little things what make you more courageous, and how to be a courageous person. Welcome back to another video. I'm Maximilian and I help people empower their lives. And in this video, it's all about courage, all about having courage, being a courageous person, and how you can do it yourself. So the first thing what you can do to be a more courageous person is to understand that you can go from failure to failure in a positive way. It takes courage to do that. It takes courage to fail. It takes courage to fail over and over again until you get that one thing, because all it takes is one thing to progress you in life. Whether that is you want to have a girlfriend, you want to have a boyfriend, it takes one day. Obviously it takes the rest of the days, but it takes that one split decision to make the first date. It takes that one split decision to start that business to increase your financial life. It just takes one decision, and it takes courage to go from one decision that's failed to the next 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 decision which finally succeeds. And that is what courage really is. Courage only really is just continuing with something no matter what the outcome is. So continue with everything that you do, whether that is you've got to be persistent with things, because most of the time you do have to be persistent. If you want to be successful, you have to be persistent, and you can't just take your first loss as a loss and go back to the way you wanted to live, or the way that you did live before, because then you'll be stuck in that typical lifestyle that you were in before, just because you didn't want to do the same thing again. Now I've done so many things and I've lost so much money, I've lost so many people, I've lost so many opportunities because I've tried so many different things. And it took me, only just realised this the other day, it took me that I had courage that I can continue. And I've said, anyone can tell me, well, why don't you go and get a real job? Why don't you go and do this? And my thing is, I am fine doing what I'm doing. I don't need to succeed right this second. I don't need it. I will get there because I know that with my persistence and what I'm doing, and I'm helping so many people now, this is finally the thing that is starting to work out for me. And it's taken me a good 12 attempts in business, in helping people. It's taken me a good 12 attempts to get here. So it just takes courage of going to the next thing and just continuing with the next thing. And a great way to sort of kick yourself into the split decision, because like I said, this one decision is the decision that will change your life. If you make the decision to go and ask this guy out, and they say yes, and you get a girlfriend or a husband or a wife from this in the long run, it was one decision that made this happen. It wasn't all the little decisions, it was the one decision for you to go and do this. And if you would have never done that, or you would have never gone to this place, then you would have never been with that person. If you would have never come up with this one idea, you would have never started that business. And this is where you can use courage in what happens in your adversity. Is if this thing never happened to you, you would have never started this business. And that is a great way, and that is how the biggest and the most impactful businesses do start, because they've got a big message, a big reason why they do what they do. So ask yourself, before you go and make this decision, what if I don't do this? What's the worst that can happen? What is the worst thing that can happen? And really sit there and think to yourself. So one of the best times I use is when I was at the gym once, at my old gym. I was chatting to a guy, and I knew he was a very successful businessman, and I never spoken to him before. And the way that I did it, I sat there and I was asking, I was like, what if I don't go and speak to him? I might potentially miss out on business opportunity, because this is when I was doing marketing. I might miss out on business opportunity. I might miss out on potentially having a new friend. And I added up all the potentials of the negatives of what would happen if I don't do it. And then I also added up of the positives of what could happen if I did do it. I could get a new friend, I could get more business, I could gain more wealth, I could gain more friends in that field. So I worked them out, and then normally it works out that the positives are always better, but you don't see them in your head first time. You have to understand it. And when I understood it, I was like, well, what's stopping me? I might as well go and ask. So I went and had a chat with him, ended up getting a business card, and had a couple of chats with him. Nothing came of it. But if I wouldn't have had the courage to go and ask him, I would have never got that little bit of insight. And you never know who you're speaking to. That one person could be the one person that's going to change your life. And that is how I do everything that I do whenever I speak to someone. Whenever I'm speaking to whoever it is, I always weigh up first. Well, I don't weigh it up, because there's no point in not doing it. Because if you don't do it, the worst thing that can happen is they're going to say no. And what's the problem with them saying no? It's really in the moment, because if you think about it, if you're asking someone out, for example, that seems like the biggest thing. That seems the most important, the most scariest, the biggest thing in your life right now. In that split moment, that is the biggest thing. When in retrospect, it's really not that big. Like, it's really not that big. You're literally having a conversation with someone. If they say no, give it a week, you probably would have forgotten that. So it's really not that big in the long run, but in that split moment, because all the emotions are everywhere, that is what you're focusing on. That is the only thing that you're focusing on, and that is where you need to gain your courage. So get yourself into state, and this is where things like the power poses, so putting your hand, stand like on Superman or stand like Superwoman, rolling yourself back, it releases more testosterone into your body. You just produce more because of the position you're standing, your shoulders are rolled back, your heart is literally open because of how your shoulders are, and you gain more confidence. You can actually gain 20% more confidence just standing in the power poses. And then the one that I call, I don't know what the name is, I call it the CEO pose, where you lay back and then you kick your feet up like that, because again, you're just opening your heart, and that's all it really is just opening your heart and just rolling your shoulders back. That's all it really is. But once you do them for a couple of minutes, you can increase yourself. And then this is where incantations can come in well, and just pump yourself up. Just tell yourself, I'm confident, so I am confident. And just pump yourself up and get yourself into state. Move your body radically. If you make a radical shift in your body, your physiology will change. And if your physiology changes to someone that is confident, you're going to be a more confident person. But if your physiology is slumped over, and you're like that, and you're talking to someone and you're talking like that, they're not going to take you seriously. But if you're rolled back and you're acting confident, after doing this so many times, your confidence will portray onto more people, and you will become a more confident person. Now, I don't believe in fake it till you make it. I believe it, feel it until you be it, and just do it. So you can fake your mind, but I don't believe fake it until you make it as in like show yourself off and show to other people that you're doing well for yourself. But with your confidence and things like that, I believe you can do it, because if you can fake to yourself and say, I'm confident, I'm confident, I'm confident, and just constantly repeat it in your head, eventually your brain will be like, oh, I get it, I'm confident. And it just ends up becoming more confident, but you've also got to make sure you're taking the right actions by talking to more people, by doing this, by doing that, that will progress you and make you more confident. So do mini courageous things, and whether that is speaking to someone, asking someone out, because like I said, they're not really big things. Speaking to one person, if you met someone, let's say you're on holiday, you meet someone and you're laying by the pool, you meet someone and you overhear them on the phone. Let's say you're all to do a business, you overhear them on the phone talking about a business deal they're going to do, and if you do a courageous thing of just talking to them, it's your last day on holiday, for example, you just talk to them. What's the worst that can happen? They don't want to talk to you, you go home tomorrow and you never see them again. Now let that sink in, because if you think about it, if you're never going to see them again, who really cares? And don't get me wrong, there's still times where I'm like, right, you've got to build up the courage to go and talk to someone, or something like that. It happens to all of us. It's just a process. It just takes continuously doing it. The more you do it, the more you program your mind. And once you program your mind, it'll be so much easier for you to go and do something. It just takes time. It just takes a little bit of time to get yourself, to kick yourself into action, get yourself into gear and going out and doing it. So don't worry about other people's opinions. Whatever they think about you is irrelevant to your life. Now, this is when I used to do network marketing back in the day. The first business thing I ever tried, well, the third business thing I ever tried, I was talking to my mentor, and he was telling me that at the end of the day, they're not paying your bills. If you want to make the money, this was obviously back then when all I was about was money. If you want to make your money, don't care about what they say. Do they pay your bills? No. Do they run your life? No. Do they live with you? No. So why do you care what they say? You live for yourself. Your opinion is the only opinion that matters. Don't worry about other people's opinions. Their opinions are theirs. Opinions are irrelevant. Opinions aren't even fact. It's an opinion. A fact is a fact, an opinion's an opinion. If you like a fact, you can't have a fact about yourself, because you can change anything about yourself other than a physical appearance, unless you get cosmetic surgery or something like that. But a fact is a fact. For example, a fact, I'm 21. I can't change that right now, but your opinion could be, but I think he's 23. But that's an opinion. I'm not 23, I'm 21. So you can say that as many times as you want. You will never be able to program my mind with an opinion, because it's an opinion, it's not a fact. Once you know it, it's a fact to yourself, and this is where fake it till you make it can work. If you say it to yourself enough times, and you're just slowly getting there, because it will take a bit of time, like I said. If you're slowly getting there, you're telling yourself something, eventually it will become a fact, because you will start to believe it, and when you fully believe something about yourself, you believe that it's a fact. And like, for example, a fact for me, which when I first started out, this was pretty far-fetched, but for me, I've always said, ever since I've always tried to program myself, and now I truly believe it, and I know regardless what happens in my life, I will be very successful in financial terms. I will be very successful in happiness terms, if you can say it like that, because I'm already where I want to be in my happiness, mental health, and health-wise, I'm very healthy as well. The last one is financial, and I've always said I will be very successful in financial terms, and now for me, it's a fact. Anyone can tell me, well, just get a real job and then you can work your way up. But no, that's not how I want to do it. I want to do it how I know I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it in the way that works for me. And my fact is, I'm going to start a business that is going to be successful, and I'm going to make it. Now, the way that I say that, I have a lot of confidence saying that because I've said it to myself for so long. I've programmed it into my mind for so long. It took me a while, but because I do it so often, every single day, it is now a fact. It is a fact, and it can be a fact if you allow it to be a fact. So thank you for watching this video. I'm very grateful for you for watching this video, and I just want to show my appreciation and gratitude by, if you've got any questions whatsoever, send me a message on Instagram. I always voice note people that follow me. It's once it gets out of hand, I won't physically be able to do it, but while I can, I believe that I want to give back to everyone that is supporting me, and I want to give back to you especially. So please do follow me. Subscribe on here if you like it, like the video if you like it, and yeah, if you like my stuff, subscribe. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.